Hello and welcome back to Reality Check. Thank you for joining us for another episode of this show that takes care of your hearts and minds. We are a mental health podcast and we have conversations on mental health in the areas of family, relationships, marriage, parenting, and the workplace. Happy new month. I know many of you are watching this in the month of April, and in certain circles, in communities, April is a month that focuses on parenting and a lot of conversations to do with children, specifically child abuse prevention and anything else that pertains to children. Today we are going to be talking about something that has to do with children, so a parenting journey, and my guest this week is none other than Dr. Fiona Muhanguzi. And she is, yes, a medical doctor. She's an author. She's a mother of 7. I like to say that because it's like, wow, she has 7 children. And she's here just to share with us a bit of her journey. She has written a couple of books, which we'll talk about a bit later on the show. But she did pause her career to stay at home and take care of her children. I knew that would get your attention. Yes, she stayed at home to look after her children and then picked up her career, and here she is today to share a part of her journey. Welcome, Doctor.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
I'm happy to be here.
Are you nervous?
A bit.
A bit?
Yes.
You were talking a bit more confidently before.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Dr. I was about to call you Dr. Evers. First of all, Dr. Evers sends her regards, please. She will be back very, very soon. She's away taking care of some important business. But when she does come back, I'm sure you'll see her on the show. In the meantime, we're going to be getting into Dr. Fiona's story. But before we do, this place that we're shooting at is the ICFC conference hall. It is available if you'd like to hire it for any kind of event, especially a workshop, seminars. You have a small intimate event or maybe about 200 to 250 people. This space is perfect for you. It's at the TMT Atrium building, Bukoto, on the 3rd level. And it's really perfect for that kind of event. There's ample parking. All the amenities are available for you to use. Plus it's accessible, so please come by, take advantage of this space. So we'll get into our conversation now. Like I've said, welcome, Doctor.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
When I heard your story, first of all, I was quite impressed that you are a professional, you're a mom, and you have actually walked the journey of, I guess, being many things, taking care of your children and your home, but also you have pursued your career and further studies, So I want us to go back to the beginning of your story. How did you make the decision to stay at home and take care of your children? And I think maybe take us back to your years of school. What did you study? Obviously, you're a medical doctor. And at what point did you get married? When did you start having children? And then what informed your decision to stay at home?
Okay, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a long story. How did I start? How did I decide?
Did you start? Yes.
But growing up, little girl's dreams, you will have children. Then later you discover there's a husband in there.
Yes.
Yeah, but to really, really think about how I would have children and have my family, it was beyond just the dream of I'll have my home, have my children. I remember in medical school, we just had this one evening with a few colleagues, and we had this discussion of who will take care of our children. Being in hospital is one of those settings where you see people at their lowest, the unwell, the abandoned. Suffering. You see all kind of suffering.
Yeah.
And being women, you could see that, whichever ward you go to, it's the women taking care of the unwell.
Yeah.
And then the question of, our children. Long conversation. But I remember it was just a few of us who were like, man, I think some of us should stay home, take care of each other's children while the others go work. Then when we are out of this, you help us catch up with our careers. But even in that discussion, you could see it's a difficult thing to come to like
grapple with.
Because you've grown up, you'll study, you'll do things, you'll maybe be rich, travel, do all kinds of things. Somehow children are there, but the weight of who will take care of them is not really there.
Yeah.
So the question was, will we stop being doctors? Will we never practice? What will we do? Anyhow, long story short, I decide, okay, I want children. Thankfully, I meet someone serious, committed. I get married right after school.
Medical school.
Actually, I wedded before our graduation.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So as an intern, I was already married. Just after internship, we had our first child. So my clever solution was, I'll give it time, but I can't really give it all my time. I'll still be a professional. So I had a clever way of juggling it.
To balance.
Yeah, so I generally never took on a full-time job. So I would stay home, then go to work. Then after a while, part-time work doesn't give you, financially, it doesn't work very well.
Yes.
So my clever solution was, do a master's, be at another level, still have your time, and still have more time with your children. At least I'll have more flexible hours. Anyhow, it was in the middle of that master's where, it hit home, the challenges of you have a home to run, you have little children.
At this point, how
At
many
that
children
time,
do
I
you have?
had 2 children.
Okay.
A 2-year-old and a 5-month-old.
Yes.
When I started the master's. It became so hectic. I wasn't balancing, in short. Yeah, and when I got a few health challenges, it was clear I needed to take a break. Anyhow, that's when it hit me. If you dropped dead today, who would be the most affected in all this? And it was really clear. Husband will move on. Children maybe will be taken to grandma or something. I don't know. None of the options that my children would have were what I would love
For them.
And it was clear, you know what? If you can live and take care of your people.
Your kids,
It is worth it. Yeah. So, was the decision easy? That's when it was really made. And that was now 2006. Now my baby was 3 years, the other 4. Now that's when I'm like, okay, I think let me settle, let me stop leaving my people. So much was happening. Their own health, my own health, the mess in my home. So much is happening, and I realized I need to prioritize. If I'm going to have a home and have children, I think I need to tone this down. Something had to give.
Yeah.
And what was obvious at the time was my career. So I made the decision to stay home.
Wow.
Was I 100%? No.
No.
I kept sneaking out.
Yes.
Until our 3rd child, now coming 2007 when I was pregnant, is when I said, okay, this is also a job. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been home since.
Since 2007.
Yes.
Yeah. There are certain things that you noticed. I want you to kind of highlight them because you told me a bit of the story before we came on the air. Certain things that you noticed that kept ringing bells in your mind that I don't think I can continue to juggle. Can you share maybe 1 or 2 experiences with your daughter? The experience with your daughter and the maid.
Yeah.
Your own health as well.
Yeah. I'll pick on 2. One was, of course, working with children is a challenge. Finding help to keep the children is a challenge. The maids come and go. There are all kinds of maids. The nice ones, the not so nice ones, and basically, it's not easy. One thing I used to find overwhelming when I was doing school at the time was you get a stranger today, and tomorrow morning you're leaving them with your home, with your children.
You don't know this person?
No. And you won't be back. I remember some days when I would be on call, you don't come back until the next day in the evening. And personally, that was like eating me, like, who does that?
Yeah.
Why do I have to do this? So I'll try. Take them to my sister. During the day, call my brother who is at university. Go and see my children, be there. That was one. Then the other thing is, when I sort of stayed home, when I had just started, I remember I was home like from Monday to Thursday, and on Thursday, the fourth day, the maid I had at the time who had stayed a little long exclaimed, "This baby talks."
Oh my goodness.
And I look at this woman and I'm like, you've been here 6 months with this child every day. And
you're just
you had
realizing
no
now.
idea that this child talks. And it hit me that
she's not been staying with her.
They were totally disconnected. Yeah. And the challenges of having, the children, that baby in particular was a bit sensitive. When I would work half day, she will not eat until you come back.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow.
Then she's sad. I remember asking colleagues, is it possible for a baby to be depressed? Like, what is this? I could see it that my child is not well. And the time I wanted to stay, not only was I unwell, even my baby was unwell. I particularly remember that time she would get flu, get very high fevers, and convulse. And that one was like, how long do you do this? What do you want? You're even not available to take care of your child. And on the ward, you ask parents, Mama wona aliwa? And you've left your own unwell, and you'd separate. Because hours, you teach the maid. When we cut to cow, so that question was haunting me, like, Mama wona aliwa? And it's like,
you're the mother they are talking about.
Now, whoa, Mama wona aliwa? So it was that you're trying to juggle, and it's difficult. And then I had a few episodes of the neighbor calls you, Doctor, you didn't tell me you're working. Why is baby crying? So and so crying? She's been crying.
Oh my goodness.
And you're so far away, and so many hours later you get back, and she cried and stopped.
Oh my gosh, and cried again.
Yes, and stopped. And there was no one, and there is no one. It's you who comes and opens the house, and the child is there.
The maid disappeared.
Yeah, she just
as soon as you left home.
I don't know.
Wow.
But you wake up the next day and you have to go to work.
Inevitably.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure.
You're sad, you're not happy, you're wondering, what am I doing? Then you get a little help, and then you sort of forget. Then you get the challenge again. So it was that. By the time I settled, I'd had my fill of help and chaos taking care of my children.
Yeah. I empathize with women in general, and it's not an easy decision to make.
Yeah.
Like you kept making it and going back, making it and going back. And I think one of the things we struggle with is we want to feel relevant in the bigger picture of the world,
Yeah.
So it's not just your little bubble with your children. You want to feel like you're contributing, like your education matters, And so I want us to speak about the challenges of making that decision. Maybe you could talk about what you grappled with, and then you were sharing some of your interesting solutions to those problems. So the stigma around staying at home, the questions that people ask you, but even internally, those questions that you're asking yourself, but is this it? I am just taking care of children. And even when we say just, I think we don't realize that it's actually a big role to stay and take care of your children. You are making a contribution, but society doesn't allow us to see it that way. We also don't allow ourselves to see it that way. So talk to us about those challenges, both internally and externally, and then what you did to kind of overcome and just change your mindset about staying at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you grow up and you're taken to school, thing is work hard, get a good career,
Make
excel, make money, build your life.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
It does.
But I think a distinction is not made at a certain level about male, female. I know that sounds traditional and what, but it's a reality. You have the breasts, he doesn't.
That's true. Yes.
You carry the pregnancy, he doesn't.
He doesn't.
So you've grown up competing, working hard. It doesn't dawn on you that there are other different decisions that you have to make, which your colleagues will not make, who are male in particular. Yeah, so here you are, you have a baby, you're a mother, he's a father, but you're both doctors.
What to do?
What to do? You're both on call, you want to breastfeed, he doesn't.
You need to breastfeed.
You're thinking about the baby.
Yeah.
Maybe he does, but in a different way.
Different way, yes.
So it was really, really tough. Actually, at the time, my clever solution was do part-time. Hey, don't be fully there, do part-time.
Balance.
Hey. I remember telling someone, I'll do my master's at 50.
Oh my goodness.
Because I was not seeing where it fit.
Yeah.
For a long time. Actually, that's one thing I thank God for. I did it well below 50.
Yeah.
Which was on my calendar. I had let it go. I'll be simple. Do this much. So so as you grapple and Charlie, I'll tell you a bit about those 2 days I would go to work. Were such a struggle.
Really?
Yeah, you wake up early, you want to leave the children, you're late at work, you're trying to leave early, there is traffic. For me, they were quite a struggle. And then the financial didn't, it wasn't worth your time. Really? Oh, all this drama, 2 people have suffered, all of us, and then for this?
Little.
It was not making sense.
Yeah.
So it was that, I remember coming home one evening, I was telling you about when you're breastfeeding, certain moments come and you have this let down reflex and the milk just goes.
Just goes.
Baby or no baby, and I would be like,
you'll be stressed. Yeah.
Not good, my baby. And I had a little baby. Actually, part of how I had I was motivated to stay home. I had this baby and she was so small.
Oh.
And I had this thing of, okay, I'm a doctor, but who leaves this little thing? Who does that? So I stay home. After 5 months,
you were like,
bored,
I need to go back.
I could
I can
work
do
a little and come back.
Yeah.
That's when the struggle is on. So I realized, yes, I'm the mom. I remember that time I had that milk flow in the taxi, a few meters to home, kilometers from home. And I had this thing of, when I had my baby in my stomach, I didn't have these problems.
Now the baby's out and
yes, pregnancy was more doable. I could work and I would still have my baby and I had nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
So those checks of, so now are you wishing you'd rather have stayed
Another.
pregnant? It doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
But that, I want to do this, but it's too difficult. And then I care about the child. And then, really, it's a challenge and you always have to face it and answer it. But for me, the later on was when, aren't these people worth my time? If I wasn't here completely, I mean, what would that profit? Yeah. And then to say, you know what, they are worth my time. They are worth the safety. They are worth so much. Let me do this for them. I'll tell you one particular incident. I stay for calls, so I come back after 36, the next day, and I'm coming home. I used to live in the flats, so it's a condominium. It was a condominium. these people who are cleaning and what slashing, you know, for them, they go with their babies.
Yes.
Wherever
Put the
they
baby
go.
somewhere
Put
there
the
with
baby
grass
somewhere,
there.
work, and then what? Of course, the doctor, I didn't have that luxury. But I remember driving past them and feeling like, Kale, that one has her baby.
She's so lucky.
Like, she's so lucky to have her baby.
Yeah.
And I remember having this thought of, if you know the story of the prodigal son, when you begin envying pig food, you know you have sunk to the bottom.
You've reached the bottom, yes.
And then I started feeling, because for us we are educated, like what was supposed to be a privilege now was the
Become a
snare.
burden,
Like,
yeah.
because we're educated, we can't have our children. Because we can't enjoy our children. Like, I can't just keep my children. I can't enjoy them. I can't be there. Because I'm educated,
Yeah.
like,
It became a burden.
it became a burden. That's when I said, when you begin having pig food, you know,
You've reached the bottom.
You've hit rock bottom.
Yeah. You've hit rock bottom.
Yeah. And then I was like, where is it written?
Yeah.
Who said? Maybe we are listening to things nobody's asking us about.
Yeah.
So I was gaining courage over time. These little things disturbing you, you're questioning that. But I was like, even me, I can enjoy my children.
You purpose that, yes, it's possible for you to enjoy your children as well.
But interesting, I didn't stop then. No, I think I went another few months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Before
but
you
it became more and more difficult. Every time I hit something, it would become more difficult. Like, I didn't like the work as much anymore.
I think because in your heart, there was always that witness that you need to be somewhere.
Yeah.
But then because you have gone to school, you have this degree, again, like I said, you want to be able to contribute and stay relevant and make some money, because
and
that's
then the
dream.
expectations somewhere.
Yes. So that, I think that internal balance is probably stronger than what you experience on the outside. Eventually, when you made the decision to stay at home, you did tell me about some of the comments that people were making, to you. And I want you to echo those for our audience, because there are people who are watching who have experienced the same thing that you have. Or maybe someone is thinking, I want to stay at home, but I struggle when people ask me certain questions, So how did you experience that outside world when you eventually settled and said, I'm going to look after my children? And then also talk to us about the small things you did to kind of shift your mindset from, I'm just at home, I'm just looking after children, I'm smelling like children, I'm talking baby things. What are those things that you did to, I call it a mindset shift because it has to start in the mind, to make that journey more bearable and more enjoyable and more purposeful? Yeah.
I can pick on two incidences in particular. One was, this one happened again and again.
Yeah.
People ask you, so where are you now?
Oh, that question.
That question.
Where are you now?
Yeah, what are you doing?
What
like,
are you
where is
doing?
your office?
Yes.
That kind of question. And you're like, no, for now I'm at home with my people.
With my children.
With your degree.
With
your what? But I remember a lot, some of that, many of them were like gentlemen. I remember after a while, it would cause me to think, like, where am I? I'm at home, and then you don't know how to explain. Remember someone saying, so you're on a sabbatical. I'm like, yeah, give it an English word. I'm on a
sabbatical.
But someone else, I remember answering back, but your children are with their mother. Who is with my children?
Yes.
Because I'm a doctor, my children don't deserve a mother. I remember we didn't get along too well after that, because he was like, no, Fiona. But I just asked him, but your children are with their mom.
How about
Who
mine?
should be with my children?
It was a fair question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I didn't have any answer except that my children also deserve. The other catchy one was, so you've now become a dependent?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, wow. Like, okay.
They're missing the big picture.
I don't know. But after a while, it was like, but what's the crime? I'm the mother of the children. I'm the woman of the home. We've taken care of so many. Why are everyone else deserving of what my husband makes? Or you're going to overload your husband?
So the other people who were taking care of,
For them, they were entitled. Everyone
they are not
except me.
overloading him, except the woman of the house.
And the mother of the children. Meanwhile, you've had the experience of these very people in your home. You can't leave your children with them. And I'm like, wow. Society has a way of putting us in a box. Because, and then I would come back to, because I'm educated. I'm like, when did my education become a bad thing? So I was determined, okay, I will not be financial burden. And I can testify, if we've had money issues, they were his making, not mine.
Not yours.
Yes, not mine. Long story.
Yeah.
But yes, I really purposed, I will not be a burden or overwhelm you or demand or be unreasonable. I will not do all those things if I have to stay home. So what are the little things I did to make it better? Yeah, part of, I've remembered because of the financial thing, I was telling myself, okay, I would entertain myself as like, you need a chef, you need a what? Pay. Add it all and it was mine.
It's yours.
Like I had moments where I would pay myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like tell daddy pay. Doesn't make sense, but it was good for me to feel rewarded at some point.
Yes.
He didn't mind. Yeah, so that was one. Sometimes to make sure I'm remunerated for it. To feel better, to have my own money, but also not to leave the gap of man. Recognize work is being done, things are being done. Then the other thing I learned and I did was when people, where do you work? I work at home. Where are you now? Head office.
Head office.
I gave my home a good name.
Yes.
Yeah. And I refuse to get like dampened. I say, oh, so this is my new office. I wake up, I dress up.
Really?
Yes, like I'm going to work,
Uh-huh.
have breakfast on time, have my home in order, drop the children by the time they come. And I think it stayed.
So you had a schedule?
Yes.
Some kind of...
It was there. The only thing we changed now is I was there fully. Yeah, to get it done, but also for me to follow it. Yeah, then the other thing I sort of was, maybe because I enjoy reading, was not to become irrelevant, forget these things, what. Because I remember that time, because now my baby was 2 and the other one 3, I mean, I had time. They go to school. But I'm at home.
Yes, yes.
I'm at home, but I was expecting at the time. And I'm like, so what are you going to do today?
After you finish the housework, the chores.
Yes. And you have a way of managing.
You do. You do.
You have a way of managing. I remember one of those times before I would be like, hey, but this home, like this place is not like my home. Or you end up fighting with the maid all the time. I wasn't so good at instruction or managing or what. So half the time my home was a mess and I didn't like it. And that probably also gave me a lot of work because I would be trying to get things in order the way I would love them. So now I am myself. So I have my home the way I like it. Yeah. I could talk about the little pleasures that people don't know about. I remember one particular time I'd put my clothes on the line, all overalls in order, my things were ironed. And I remember sitting down and I was like, people don't know this can feel good.
This is really nice.
Yeah. And I was like, how do you tell anyone you washed clothes and cooked food and you feel good?
You feel good.
But I did.
Yeah.
Because my home was running the way I would love it to run. And I felt good. So one, I would pay myself. Not consistently.
Not a lot, but yes.
And not so consistent. But when I needed to, be like, yeah, I need to pay this. Or if I didn't get extra help and I did the work, I made sure I paid myself for it. I said, no, I don't want to resent the work or to feel bad about it. I remember I would tease my husband a lot, like, that tea was cooked by a doctor, so you pay a doctor, a chef doctor.
Pay her worth.
Yeah, my worth is not like the other one. Yeah, so that made it good.
Yeah.
And because I didn't want to be a burden, I was actually good at saving.
Ah.
Where am I going? What am I going to do?
Yes. Put aside that money
Just
so that when you
put it-
actually need it,
when I need it,
it's
it's
available. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then I would dress up. Did I say that?
Yes, you did,
Yeah,
but I want
wake
you to
up.
expound on that a bit. You said something.
I would dress up like I'm going to work.
Okay.
Even my husband, she knows it. I'm going to work.
At the head
Then
office.
he got over it. I'm going to my office. Then I serve tea, I take the children. Yeah. Then when I was pregnant and tired, I remember I had to sit and edit my wardrobe. I said, and gave myself some rules.
Yeah.
No t-shirts, no lesu, no chitambar.
You might need to repeat that for the audience. No t-shirts, no lesus. And
No
those are the
chitamba.
comfortable clothes for home. But
That's what's tempting. And that's what makes women
yes, feel like I'm
go
just
like
here.
careless or forget themselves or never really take care of themselves.
That's true.
Yeah, so I had to give myself a few rules. And you must have earrings. I mean, I don't do a lot of makeup. Earrings.
Earrings. That's bare minimum, surely.
Yeah, but at that time you forget. You have no
when you're
reason
home to wear them.
Yeah. So that helped a lot. You bump into people on the street or in the market and they're like, where are you coming from? I work. Work.
From the office. Wow.
Whom are you with? My boss is sticky. That's my baby. my boss is so sticky. I'm in a hurry.
Yes, I need to go back.
I need to go.
Wow.
Yeah, and you still feel good that you're at work. You give it the honor it deserves and you're giving it attention. Even a little things like when people think staying at home, you have so much time and you're free. I don't know, maybe because for me I had little children and I made myself useful. People across, people I knew, I'm home, bring the baby. I set out to do the one thing that I needed that I didn't have. If a mother is stuck, bring those children.
Wow.
They'll be safe.
Yeah.
And I had fun, in quotes.
so-
Because I had a little nursery. There was a time I would have 7, 12 kids in the house.
Wow.
And it was fun.
Yeah.
I could keep a routine. I could be orderly. I would know what to do. I could potty train them. Because, I mean, I was not your average person to start with.
You're
And
educated.
yes, I was educated. I was a medical doctor. I could do things a little different. Yeah, so that kept me busy.
That's so honorable. Yeah, that you gave other mothers what, I mean, I'm sure many moms would want to stay at home and take care of their children. But for you to also do that in your season, I think is very commendable.
Actually, you said season. When I started staying home, I also decided at this point in my life, I'm a mother of young children. When I was a student, I was a good, diligent student. Now that I'm a mother, let me be a good, diligent mother.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember learning that it's important that children see you when they wake up and before they sleep. Some things like really, really stuck. That's why I would struggle with work. I don't want to leave before they've woken up. I'm struggling with it. Yeah. So now I can do that. I can pray with them. I can see how they've slept. I know how they've woken up. Yeah. So I was able to do that and do it well.
Very well.
So I said, my season now is I'm a mother of little children. So there are things I cannot do. There are places I cannot go. And
and make peace with it.
And I made peace. This season will pass. And what's amazing, it will pass.
It will.
And it passes so quickly. Those first few days you think are so long, but when you look at them the sleepless nights were just 2 months.
They feel like a lot.
2.
Yes.
Yeah, but when you're there, it feels like you've not slept or you're dying. Like it's 1,000 years. No.
Yeah.
I look back and I'm like, I was pregnant how many times? Like, how did that happen? Is it true?
You were pregnant 7 times.
Like, is it true? It passes so quickly.
Yeah.
So if I have not been there, then I missed it. Yeah, I'll let you.
Your story fascinates me. And imagine I have just heard it today, by the way, just like you who is watching. I want us to talk about, so your understanding of parenting. You have 7 children, you took time off, your career to stay at home and take care of them. And you said something that caught my attention. You're not an ordinary person looking after children, that you are different in the sense that, you went to school and there's an understanding and an awareness about parenting that you have that informs how you take care of children, not just your own, but even those that were entrusted to you.
Yeah.
So what's your philosophy around parenting? What do you think it actually entails? And maybe compare that to, maybe not compare, speak to us about your own upbringing and how it informed whether it's your parenting style or what you believe parenting should be. And maybe also talk to us about what you think the parents of today, our generation, consider to be parenting. And is it wrong? Is it right? Can it be corrected? Yeah, I hope I'm not confused with my question. But what I want to hear is your understanding of parenting based on your years staying at home, your upbringing, and your observation of society. Yeah.
Wow. I'll just speak freely what I feel I should share on that. From my education, like medicine, we know that children growing have certain benefits from parent right from the start.
Yeah.
Like I told you, by the time I started staying home, I began feeling like my being educated is a problem. Imagine, because you're working, you can't breastfeed your child for 2 years. You know those things you're told. Breastfeed without, now I've forgotten because I'm no longer, like breastfeed without giving any exclusively for the first 6-9 months, then give feeds. When you're educated, that's a luxury.
That's so true. Isn't that wild?
So, that's one. Then there are these things we read. Give your children the first 7 years. Character formation, help them how the brain develops, 7 years. Other books, 12 years. You're the educated person, super luxury. You can't even dream of it.
You can't afford it, yes.
Hey, I was listening to the newer one recently. I said, the world can shift goalposts. At least give them 2 years. I said, wow.
2 years.
Now this is where we've reached.
Yes, yes.
So I knew all that. Like, my baby needs to be breastfed up to this time. Be there for people permanence. Be there to give them the feel of how their world is. All that comes from how they are mothered and fathered, even before they can talk.
Can you imagine?
Yes.
Yeah.
Even before they can talk. And then help their character, help them what? By the time they are 7, others say 12. I was amazed recently. I was listening to this psychologist says, children, the brain is growing. There are things you're learning up to 25. I said, wow. Wait, how is this applicable in how we are parenting and how we are being pushed to give time to our children? My own experience, I remember when my children began going to secondary school. Of course, I had younger ones, then I had this one who had gone to S1. Yes. She came home and she was tired. She sleeps. And then the other siblings are peeping at her like a celebrity, basically. She's sleeping. And they run and they laugh. She's woken up. Like, they found her so strange and interesting. But you see, they are all learning. Now, part of those holidays, because I was at home, then she's asking me about school. Like I've told you, I've struggled. You want to be relevant. So you're home, then when everyone goes to school, you go do some part-time work.
Yes.
Like, make yourself useful. I'm really not good at being idle. I don't do idle very well. So I like to occupy my time. So that particular holiday, generally I try, when people are at home, I don't go. But I also want to breathe. If I can do 1-2 hours, I go. I'll tell us what that is maybe. that I would do on the side. So I wasn't your typical, I mean, I can't do that. I can't be seated there idling, sleeping. No, that's not what being at home is. So I was at home with this child, and she had all these questions about all kinds of strange things. How others are brought, how homes run, how school is what. I don't even know how to, but I remember sitting after we had this conversation, and I'm like, so if I wasn't here to answer, who was going to give her these answers?
Yeah.
Now fast forward, she's at university. She has those moments. She shows up and she has these questions.
Yeah.
Oh, we thought, now as we are from like the Christian people, we thought we were born again, but people are this. I thought this, but this. And I'm thinking, and we are having these conversations. We talk, we do things while talking. And then after the others have gone to bed, we are seated talking. And I'm like, so if I was tired, where would she have had these answers to concretize her own mindset on things, her own thinking? Now that sort of brings me to how I was brought up. I was telling you, at the time I remember when I started staying home, I was 25, 26, and I was like, I've never been home and my mother is not there.
Yeah.
But my 1-year-old goes 4 out of 7 days and I'm not there.
You're not home. Wow.
And sometimes even dad is not there as well.
Wow.
The two of us are not there.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Something's off.
There's something not well with how we are doing things. And I had this, who said, where is it written? So there's this, I was telling you, script around us, which is like ruling how we are, the decisions we're making, not only on parenting, by the way,
generally
on marriage, on how we make money.
Yes.
I remember, like recently, there was something on retirement, and then I asked, but guys, how much money is enough for retirement? Like, when does this end? Where is it going? So it reminds me of something that I benefited even by staying home, was time to reflect and think. You look like you're busy, you're what, but you think.
That's true.
You're able to sort through how you're doing life because you have time to reflect.
And we are missing out on that time.
That one.
Because we are busy.
We are so busy, it's like someone, somewhere is telling us to do, and we are like puppets. They move this, you move. And when it comes to parenting, it's like we are missing out completely. And then I compare my 2 children, whom I had before I stayed home, and my others. There are many times where the difference is obvious.
Really?
But now over time, like I made up because I made time for this particular child. I can see the difference. Yeah. Like that bond, that talk, it was not there.
Oh my goodness.
It was not there.
Because you were barely home.
Yes. And when I wasn't there mentally, emotionally. I was overwhelmed with my own things. So from my parents, what did I get? They were always there, generally. When my father came, he was so involved to a point we washed together clothes, like he was so involved. I remember him sitting down and telling us his stories, telling us so much. There are things I know I don't struggle with because I had them from my father.
Wow. Yeah.
When I was much younger, yet he passed away when I was 15. But you can imagine his imprint was so strong that
to this day.
To this day.
Wow.
There are things I have, and I remember his quotes, like he would say those things like, this is what my father would talk about. I was even telling him, he's like, no, I don't remember. I'm like, Mom, you don't remember.
How can you not remember?
But as a child,
of course you remember.
They were imprinted. I knew them, and like they've been guiding me, leading me. So yes, our parents were a little more involved, regardless of their financial state. They were really, really involved.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I've told you, I don't know a time in my life where there is home without mommy. It's not there. And yet I wasn't giving that to my children.
Home is where mommy is, I think.
Home is where mommy is.
You said that.
Yeah.
I really think that obviously society has changed, and I think we shouldn't bury our heads in the sand and pretend like we are living in the days of our parents.
True.
It's not the era we are in anymore.
Yeah.
Things have changed, but I also believe that sacrifices have to be made if we are going to achieve even a little bit of the way our parents were available and present for us. And I don't see any other way to do it. I think all of life is about sacrifice.
Yeah.
If you want to have a successful marriage, if you want to have a successful business, successful children, you do have to make some compromises and sacrifices. Something has to give.
Yeah.
When you were telling me about this book, so you've written a book. It's called Parenting Made Easy: What Every Parent Should Know.
Yeah.
And you told me what the theme in this book is. You've talked about one of them, which is presence. Can you talk to us about the other two that you highlight in this book for the benefit of our audience?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the main things about parenting that I learned, I saw, I've dealt with is presence, being really present.
Yeah.
Body, mind, spirit.
That's it.
Emotions, really be present so that you can connect. Yeah, and be intentional. Yeah. Now in therapy, you encounter parents and they really don't know their child.
That's true.
Like they have no idea who their child is. Yes. And then they have also their image of what their child should be or is.
Imagine.
And you're like, and you almost want to say, spend 2 days with this child. And you will not say the teacher is being mean to your child, or you will be surprised who this child is. And then also you're like, but the solution for this child's issue is you. You just be there with them, tell them, don't do this casually. And they will not do it again. But the parent is like completely absent, completely unaware, or is set on making their child what they think their child should be.
So you talk about presence.
Being present, connected, and intentional.
Yeah. And I think that maybe to demystify the whole idea of, because we are in an era where we like to give to our children. We're giving them gifts. We are giving them. Yesterday was my son's birthday, and obviously I ordered for cake. I was going to say I baked. I did not bake. I ordered for a cake. And of course, there's a sense of satisfaction that I have given him something that he likes and he desires. But I think that there's a tendency for the parents today to only give and not be present. And it kind of numbs something in your brain that I've done my part for today. I've given my children are experiencing a better childhood than I did. And by better, we mean material things. Yes, they have the best toys, they have clothes, they have shoes, they have, a really good education. And I think that we need to shift that mindset from giving, and being, being present. So I think it's important that we read this book. Where can people find it? Maybe if you could tell us.
Yes.
And how much it goes for.
Yeah. It's available in bookshops, Uganda Bookshop and Book Point, Bugolobi and I think Lubowa. Yeah, but you can also get in touch, and copies can also be made available here.
At ICFC?
Yes, at ICFC.
Okay. So in this book, you're going to hear more about Dr. Fiona's philosophy really on parenting, which is, I think, is an informed philosophy based on your experience, but also based on what you know about parenting.
Yeah.
You have.
Can I add that you had asked me what my philosophy is?
Yes.
I didn't know how to say that. Yeah, okay. But to add not just to the book, but to this thing of staying home, is the fact that to your child, you are the most wonderful. You're a god for them. They don't know about your PhD. They don't know about your dog. They don't know about your car parked there. They actually don't care. It's you they want, it's you they love. What you say holds is gold, is everything.
Yeah.
How you look at them is everything. So it's you they need. Yeah, and in all the things that we do in all this world and what, I know there are theories of quality and quantity time for parenting. I'm not sure you can draw the line. Yeah, because it's you they want.
That's it. Yeah.
You'll be amazed. Children just want to know you're in the house.
Yeah.
At a certain level.
Yeah.
And that's all they want. Yeah. I don't know about you, but I'm one of those, like, staying home. Part of what gave me, like, the strength. I remember telling my mom, Mama, I'm leaving the course. I think let me stay with my people. And she's like, yeah, that is you. It's okay.
Yeah.
I know it would have been more difficult if my mother was, Okashoma, you know, all this medicine, like, she didn't. She had an understanding of we are different. We are also not. We are 7 siblings. Like, and she allows all of us to be. So that thing of just love them because they love you. They don't care about your perfect kasige or car
makeup,
or job. They don't. It is you they love,
Yeah.
and you're that important to them. And may we be able to give it to them as much as we can.
Yeah.
Even in the midst of this, of course, times have changed with juggle. But for the mothers, like I said, you can't, what do they call it? Ask someone else to do for you.
What only you can do.
Yes,
Yeah.
only you can do. And your presence affects their outlook on the whole, on the world, and even later in life, even their brain development.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, we are deceived by material things and now by school performance. In the therapy rooms, I'm shocked at, should I say how the child is blank? Like, I will not say they have no soul, but you deal with someone who's like, there is no human in this person.
Oh my, that's
Because,
tragic.
yes, because that is what parenting passes on.
Soul, personality.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't even call it personality. It's a little deeper, on how the brain grows and how this person perceives the world. And even them, how they are. Eh? In our therapy, you deal with children who have zero empathy. Like, they have no understanding of feelings.
And that's what mothers pass on to children.
That's what parenting, involved parenting passes on. That human connection, that, you know, like others, they give you an eye and you know.
You know her. That eye is loaded.
Yes, we don't have that understanding, and that's why now people struggle in relationships, in work, if you like, addictions. Like, it has such far-reaching effects. Because for us, like in therapy, you ask a few questions and
you know.
Yeah.
Parenting, there are some gaps there.
Yeah, the gaps were big.
Yeah.
So let's be able to give of ourselves.
Well, thank you, Dr. Fiona. I want to give you an opportunity to share some final words to the audience, to our audience that's watching and listening, especially to the parents. There are many parents, I'm sure, who would love more than anything to stay at home. But circumstances are forcing them to work. I think there's something they can do. Because when you talk about staying at home, you mentioned that there's a period in the day when you are involved with the children. Maybe some of them are going to school, or at some point they are playing. What is it that in that free period you can do, either to stay relevant, or this person who is working and unfortunately has to work maybe between 8 and 5 p.m., what are some of those compromises that they can make to make up for that time? Of course, it can never be enough, but there's always something to do, rather than just give up and say, you know what, this is my fate, I have to work. The children, God will raise them, or the uncle or the auntie who is at home. Are there, I mean, in your line of work, are there some compromises you've seen busy people making that can have a little impact on the child that they are raising, you know, even as we wrap up our conversation?
Like I said, being involved is like you have to tap into your person and see how much you can give. But I like to call it rules. Give yourself rules. There are things you can do, which you can do. And like they say, things will not be done unless you schedule them, unless you purpose to do them.
Yes.
So in your life and in your decisions, make time for certain things. Yeah, so I know people who they must drop, they must pick, they must be there at least for supper. Like there's something you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the challenging one, which cannot be passed on. When you're pregnant, be pregnant. It's good. I don't know how that sounds like. Focus.
Yes.
If you can, focus. If you can, focus. Breastfeed your child with wholeheartedly for as long as you can. Be there, be there. It's all planning and purposing to be there. One of the, not really arguments I have is, you know you want to have one or two. Really, you can't, I mean, find a way to make that time for that one or two. For those 2 years with this child. Like, really. Like I said, something has to give, whether you like it or not.
Yes.
Something has to give. Maybe there are decisions you need to change, maybe tone down something. Something has to give.
Sacrifice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that reminds me, while you insist, I don't know, on maybe choosing work or you have to, something still gives.
That's true.
Yeah. The question is it something you have chosen? Is it the preferred? One of the overwhelming people to deal with are like parents of whose children are not doing well and they regret that it's them now. That one, it's a hard one.
How do you live with yourself?
Yeah. So make choices and decisions so that you trade off what can be gained later rather than this one, which may not be gained later.
That you can't, yeah.
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 And then, that said also, like I know I'm a doctor, I choose to give as much as I can. But I also know I'm a mother. Whatever I do, I don't want to look back and say, I should have seen that patient. I want to go home and sleep. I did everything I could.
Yes.
Yes. There is a reward in a work well done.
That's true.
Which you can't share with anyone, which you can't tell anyone. There are things you'll overcome or do for your child, which you won't even tell anybody about them, but it's your joy and it's your reward. We're talking recently with a girl whose mother sacrificed so much. Now they pamper her. And I'm like, you see, your mom is rewarding from her sacrifice.
Yes.
I hope we can reap
rewards
from our children.
Yes. And I think the sacrifice you talk about may not necessarily even be material things. I think material things are there. They are somewhere on the list, but maybe not top on the list. Because the things that we remember from our upbringing, like you said, there are certain things your dad said to you and did with you that have stayed with you for the rest of your life. So I think as parents, what I'm picking from what you're saying is your investment now, and you're not doing it so that you can be rewarded by your child. It is the gift that you're giving your child, your responsibility, your stewardship. But your investment now in that child of yours, is it going to reap return on investment? And that return on investment could just be a tap on the back and saying, I did my best. I gave my child everything that I could give them, and I did it well, I did it diligently.
But even for society, you look and say, like we're talking on one of our school chat groups, these children who bully others, they also have a mother and father.
That's true.
I remember I sat down with my son and I said, you don't be part of this. You as you. If you say you're in fellowship, you guys need to sit and agree that you guys are not going to do ABC and hold each other accountable. And but mommy, don't give me everyone.
You are different.
And when God asks you, will you say because those people did it? No. So what is your contribution also to society? When you look and that corrupt, evil person was your son.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Some of these things we've grown them.
We've allowed them.
We've allowed them.
Yeah.
Hey.
We have.
When your child is doing so and such things to the driver, what makes you think that's okay?
It's not.
For a 9-year-old. It's you who can deal with it. So let's make our contribution. And like I said, you look and say, yeah, my child can have a stand.
They can, because you've instructed them, you've nurtured them into it.
I envy my mother because after all her struggles, you look at all of us and we turned out well.
Okay, yes.
When you ask her, what did you do? She cried, she prayed, she disciplined, she gave us rules.
Wow.
But at the end of the day, she also knows she did it, but she did her part. And she has no regret.
I like that. I like
So,
that.
even for yourself and your contribution to society, give it your best. Don't leave it to chance.
Do your best and have no regrets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Fiona. You are launching this book. When are you launching it?
On 19th.
19th
April. Yeah, there is a link going around. You can register. Attendance will be by registration only.
Okay.
But gladly buy a book. We keep learning.
Yeah.
And it's important. There will be
do.
something for you.
Yes.
Maybe that little link that makes things easy for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, well, there you have it. Thank you so much, Dr. Fiona, for sharing your story and your journey with us. I know that there's a lot we can learn even from this book.
Yes.
We are waiting for that book on being a stay-at-home mom.
Yes.
I know you're writing it at the moment.
Yes.
And when it's ready, maybe we'll have you back again.
I'll be happy to.
Tell us about the book. But that's it from us. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. And let us know what you have picked from our conversation. If you're thinking about staying at home to take care of your children and maybe you are struggling with certain thoughts, let us know in the comments as well. And hopefully we can respond or answer some of your questions in the comment section. That's it from us. Until next week, stay well, stay healthy. Bye-bye.